If there's a lot of crunching or general annoyance in this video, that is the baby that is sat next to me. Hopefully he's out of shot. I say hopefully as though that's not the reason everyone watches my videos. If you do just want to look at Remy, then you can go follow me on Instagram for that. That wasn't meant to be a plug, but it was a good one. Today I'm going to be talking about how I induced labour. I don't really want to think about the last stages of my pregnancy because it was horrible. If you are pregnant, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this, then I'm really sorry. I vividly remember how horrible it was. So I'm assuming you just want to get the baby out. And if you're later than 38 weeks on in your pregnancy, then it's safe to do that. So don't be getting any ideas from this video if you're before 38 weeks pregnant. It's not safe to try and induce labour and you shouldn't do that. If you're interested, I have written a blog post which I will link in the description, which is about why I will not be choosing to induce labour next time. I say next time like I'm going to have another baby. But if you are interested in knowing why, then like I said, I'll link that below. So number one, which is something I started doing at 7 months, is drinking raspberry leaf tea. Now, when you drink it at 7 months, it's obviously not with the intention of inducing labour. If you have like 1 cup a day, then it's good at strengthening your pelvic wall and like toning your uterus and all that stuff. I'm not a doctor, but it's completely safe to drink from 7 months. My NCT practitioner and my midwife both said it was okay. Sorry. The idea is just that it's basically going to help you in labour slightly. I mean, not much is going to help you in labour, but I'm joking, it's not that bad. Oh, quick plug, I don't know if I've mentioned, I wrote a blog post on my birth story. If you're interested in that, that's also going to be linked below. I'm going to stop plugging stuff now, but just because I've not talked about that on this channel, and obviously it's linked to this video. Anyway, I gave birth mid-February, so I was heavily pregnant in winter, and I don't like hot drinks, don't really like tea or coffee or anything like that. The only thing I really like to drink is fruit tea, so for me, it was a win-win situation, like regardless of it helping me in any way, I just thought it tasted really good. Obviously if you're like heavily pregnant in August and you don't like the taste of raspberry tea anyway, maybe skip that one. Apparently it helps you in labour. And then from about 38 weeks I started drinking 2 cups a day, and then in the final week before my due date I was drinking like 3 cups a day because I just wanted to get Remy out. If you are interested, by the way, in why I wanted to get Remy out, it's because the doctors told me that he was gonna be like 10 pounds, and I knew that if I let him go overdue he'd be like 12 pounds, and it was my first baby and I was terrified and I did not want to push like a 12-pound baby out, so I was just trying to like get him out as early as I could and as safely as I could. Number 2 is an exercise ball. These are great in general for when you're heavily pregnant. I really enjoyed bouncing on mine because it helped my backache. I also had SPD, so you're meant to stay quite active at the end of your pregnancy, but I didn't really like walking and stuff, so for me that was like just a nice way of like not sitting down all the time. It's great in labour to help with your contractions, and it can also apparently shorten the first stage of labour. I think that's something to do with when you're bouncing, like you're really getting the baby into like where he needs to be. I think it's something like that, but either way I really enjoyed mine. Just be careful when you're ordering them that you get the right size, because I didn't realise there were different sizes, and we initially got one that was too small for me because I'm quite tall. So if there's like a size chart or whatever, just check that you've got the right one and you haven't got like a kid's one or something. So what I did in those 2 weeks that I was trying to induce labour is I just bounced on the ball for about 10 minutes at a time, and also did like circular motions with my hips. And then on the final 2 days, because my due date and my birth date was the Saturday, so on the Thursday and Friday I was just like going hard, and I pretty much spent like 5 or 6 hours a day on the ball. Obviously if your legs start hurting or whatever, like prioritise rest first, but for me it did help, and it made me just, it gave me something to do, so it was good for like all the nerves and anxiety that's going on in your head. It was good to just give myself something to focus on. So I really recommend them. They're only like £5 or something as well, I think. So yeah. Number 3, this isn't necessarily a natural one. I mean, it kind of is. But you have to go to the hospital to get it done. And that is a stretch and sweep, or a membrane sweep, or whatever you want to call it. I was offered this on the Monday, so 6 days before my due date. And initially I was just like, no, I don't want any kind of medical intervention. And then when I looked it up online, I realised it's actually like completely chill. It's basically just a finger wiggle up your vagina, so I just kind of went for it. It was a little bit uncomfortable, it hurt a tiny bit, like I wouldn't, you know, have it done for fun, but I did voluntarily go and get another one on the Wednesday, so obviously it couldn't have been that bad. So the idea is that if it doesn't work within, I think it's 24 or 48 hours, then it's not worked at all. So I had mine done on the Monday, and then by the Wednesday, like, nothing had really happened, so I had another one done. That was actually Valentine's Day. Romance. That was mine and Danny's first Valentine's Day, and I had someone else's finger up my vagina. It did help a little bit though, I think, because I lost my plug after the second one. I lost my plug. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, something that can make it more effective and more likely to work, especially after the second sweep that you have, if you have to, is having sex afterwards, which brings me on to point number 4, I think, which is sex. This is the one that I think has the highest success rate, and also it's the one that, like, most people think of first. Even people that have never been pregnant and never plan on getting pregnant were like, just have sex, he'll pop right out. And I was like, okay, you've watched too much Friends. But it's true. I mean, it's the most sort of, like, medically proven one, because I'm probably going to get this a little bit wrong, but there's something in semen called prostaglandin, and that's basically the same thing that they put in the thing that they use to induce you at the hospital, but obviously without all of the side effects and stuff. So it's like a natural version of the hospital induction, but it's basically like 3 doses of sperm, have the same amount as the one hospital one. So basically you have to have sex 3 or more times for it to, like, have the same sort of effect. That's the idea behind it. So I was just, like, making Danny have sex with me when I was 40 weeks pregnant, which couldn't have been the nicest thing. I was like the angriest, fattest whale. So this sort of brings me on to number 5. Not this, I meant what I was talking about. Oh my god, you're just gonna keep talking, aren't you? So number 5 is nipple stimulation. This is the one that most people told me was gonna work just, like, instantly. So I was a bit annoyed when it didn't, because I was just there rubbing my nipples for like 20 minutes at a time, and I was like, where is my baby? Obviously you have to be careful with this one, because you're about to have a baby, your nipples are probably going to be super sore from breastfeeding anyway if you are planning on breastfeeding. You probably can't even hear me right now because I have a loud child on my lap. On the Friday, so the day before I gave birth, this is the one that I think tipped me over into labour, because on the Friday I was literally bouncing on my exercise ball and rubbing my nipples for like 6 hours straight, I'm not even kidding, and then at 6 PM I started getting back cramps, and I was like, god, this really hurts. I think it's because I've been on the ball for too long, or maybe it's something to do with the nipples, like maybe I'm like, I don't know, I just felt like I felt like I'd done something like wrong, and then those back cramps turned into contractions, and obviously I gave birth 24 hours later. So personally, I'd recommend the ball and the nipples the most, because I do think that is what pushed me over into labour, but it's different for everyone. And I mean, it could have just been that I was meant to give birth that day anyway, and I would have gone into labour anyway. I do think it's unlikely, because nothing was happening, like nothing was really making me feel like I was going to give birth that week. It did come as quite a shock to me when I did go into labour, and also the fact it was on my due date just seems a bit suspicious, because like that's so rare. I think it's like 5% of women go into labour on their due date. So yeah, I do think it was because of the things that I did. I'm so sorry that he's just like shouting over this whole video. Number 6, I think, is walking. I'm really sorry, I know you don't want to be walking right now. I know it's the last thing that you want to be doing. Well, it was certainly the last thing I wanted to be doing. Obviously you need to conserve your energy. Labour it's like exercise, like honestly I was just like, I'm so done with this. So obviously you want to rest, but at the same time, if you rest for a whole week and don't do anything, and then at the end of that week you give birth, you're going to be like extra tired because you're not used to like moving or doing anything. So as much as you can, I would say walk, like regardless of inducting, regardless of all of this, just if you're giving birth soon, I would advise to at least have like a short, slow walk every single day. I literally would just go down the street and then walk back. Another thing sort of to do with that is to walk up and down stairs sideways, which I know sounds like such an old wives' tale, but it does make sense in the fact that like your legs are going to be on uneven. Do you know what I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like you're wiggling about your insides basically, and I think everything at that stage is all to do with like moving about your insides and getting it all jiggled down, getting the baby into the right position and stuff. And apparently like the rhythm of walking can like stimulate your uterus. I just hit my child on the head, I'm sorry. So yeah, like try that as well. Ever since I picked Remy up about 5 minutes ago, I feel like I've just been rambling because I'm not really focusing on what I'm saying, and I'm more focusing on the fact that he's just been talking over me. So sorry if he has. Do we have anything else to say? I know being pregnant is horrible, but maybe just enjoy it, because once you give birth you have one of these, and nobody wants one of these, do they? Nobody wants one of these, do they? Like, honestly, all your hair is just gonna fall out. It's just terrible. I don't know where you're going. So I think those are all my tips. If you're pregnant and you're trying to induce labour, good luck, and comment below letting me know if any of these were helpful. If you're not pregnant, why are you watching this video? Like I said, read my blog post if you're wondering why I won't be inducing labour next time. I've linked my Twitter and Instagram below if you care about my opinions or my face / Remy's and Danny's faces. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!